We live in a world addicted to comfort, offended by truth, and terrified of pain. We've built lives behind screens, filters, and distractions, softening ourselves with every swipe, every excuse, every escape from reality. But the ancient Stoics weren't interested in illusions. They looked life dead in the eyes and said, "Tell me the truth, no matter how hard it is." They understood something this modern world has forgotten. You don't build a strong mind with praise, comfort, or fantasy. You build it with fire, with discipline, with brutal honesty. These truths they embraced weren't gentle. They didn't soothe you. They shattered you. They stripped you of entitlement, exposed your excuses, and forced you to meet yourself without any masks. That's where the Stoic begins, at the edge of comfort, where most people turn back. These aren't truths for the faint of heart. They're cold. They're cruel. But if you can face them, accept them, and live by them, they will turn your mind into something no storm can break, something that cannot be manipulated, defeated, or enslaved. The Stoic doesn't chase pleasure. He seeks mastery of the self, of the mind, of the moment. And these 8 truths are the brutal stones on which he builds an unshakable fortress inside himself. The question is, can you handle them? Truth number 1. No one is coming to save you. This is the first truth, and the most devastating for the unprepared soul. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not some perfect partner, not the government, not God in the way you think he will. Life does not owe you a rescue. It does not owe you healing. It doesn't even owe you justice. And the moment you accept that, not with bitterness, but with clarity, is the moment you take your first real step toward power. The Stoics didn't place their fate in anyone else's hands. They didn't wait for the world to get better, for people to treat them fairly, or for fate to offer mercy. They didn't pray for ease. They trained for difficulty. Because they knew, the longer you wait for a savior, the weaker you become. The longer you believe someone else is responsible for your happiness, your peace, or your success, the more control you give away. An unbreakable mind begins where self-pity ends. It begins in the quiet, painful realization that you are responsible for everything in your life, even the things that weren't your fault. Especially those. Because blaming doesn't build you. Only ownership does. The Stoic doesn't sit around hoping for rescue. He builds his own ladder, brick by brick, mindset by mindset, day by day. He chooses responsibility not because it's easy, but because it's the only path to freedom. This truth will hurt. It will make you feel alone, exposed, naked in the face of life's chaos. But that's good, because once you stop waiting for someone to carry you, you realize you've had legs this whole time, and they're stronger than you ever knew. No one is coming to save you, because you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to rise. Truth number 2. Most of what you fear will never happen. Fear is a liar. It creeps in slowly, speaking in whispers that grow louder with every thought you don't challenge. It paints pictures in your mind, of loss, of humiliation, of disaster, until your reality becomes poisoned by possibilities that haven't even happened. The Stoics knew this trap well. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality," and those words remain as true today as they were 2,000 years ago. Your fear convinces you that you're in danger when you're merely uncomfortable. It convinces you that taking a step forward will lead to catastrophe, when in truth, standing still is the real death. The Stoic does not allow fear to build its home in his mind. He challenges it. He drags it into the light and dissects it. He asks, "What am I really afraid of?" And then he walks into that fear. Not because he doesn't feel it, but because he refuses to be ruled by it. He knows that most fears are just shadows, large in the dark, but fading quickly when faced with action. Fear feeds on hesitation, and the Stoic refuses to hesitate. He knows that clarity lies on the other side of action, and courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. How many opportunities have you lost to fear? How many times have you betrayed your own potential just because something might go wrong? The Stoic doesn't wait for certainty. He acts in uncertainty. Because he knows, life doesn't promise safety, but it does reward bravery. And even if the worst does happen, even if the nightmare comes true, he also knows he will endure it, face it, overcome it, just like he always has. Fear is not the enemy. Unquestioned fear is. Most of what you fear will never happen. And even if it does, you'll be ready. The Stoic mind prepares for impact, not panic. That's why it remains unshaken while others collapse. Truth number 3. You control nothing but your mind. The weather will change. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Life will knock the wind out of you without warning. And if you've placed your peace, your identity, or your worth in any of those things, you will collapse with them. The Stoic understood that control is an illusion in the external world. The only kingdom you truly rule is within. Your thoughts, your responses, your choices, these are the only things that belong to you. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire, understood this better than anyone. He commanded legions, ruled over millions, yet he wrote to himself at night, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The emperor knew what most people never learn. External power means nothing if your internal world is chaotic. The Stoic doesn't waste energy fighting the wind. He adjusts his sails. He focuses on mastering the only thing he actually owns, his perception. When you master your mind, the world loses its power to destroy you. Insults become noise. Setbacks become strategy. Chaos becomes a canvas on which you paint your response. The Stoic isn't emotionless. He's emotionally disciplined. His calm doesn't mean he feels nothing. It means he controls how he channels what he feels. He doesn't react. He responds. And in that gap, between stimulus and response, lies the space where peace is built. You control nothing but your mind, and that is more than enough. Because when you master the mind, you master your life. The world can burn around you, but inside, the fire only sharpens your spirit. Truth number 4. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is seductive. It whispers promises of ease, of warmth, of safety. And for a while, it feels good. The soft pillow, the easy choice, the lack of challenge. But comfort is a slow poison. It dulls the edge of your character. It makes you forget what you're capable of. The Stoics feared comfort not because they hated rest, but because they knew what it cost. Your edge, your hunger, your resilience. They believed that comfort breeds weakness, and weakness invites suffering. Seneca practiced sleeping on the floor and eating stale bread, not to punish himself, but to remind his body, "I can survive worse." Epictetus, a crippled slave-turned-philosopher, taught that luxury weakens the will. Marcus Aurelius, though born into royalty, warned himself daily not to grow soft in the palace. These men knew that true strength is born in friction, not luxury. The Stoic doesn't seek pain for pain's sake, but he doesn't flee it either. He walks into the discomfort, not because he enjoys it, but because he knows it is the gym for the soul. Growth only happens at the edge of discomfort, in the sweat, in the silence of endurance, in the moments where quitting feels easier than continuing. The Stoic trains for adversity, physically, mentally, emotionally, because he understands life will test him whether he trains or not. But if he has trained, he will not break, he will rise. The modern world tells you to seek convenience. The Stoic tells you, choose the harder path, not because it's fashionable, but because it's forging you. Comfort is not your friend. It is the enemy dressed as luxury. And if you let it wrap itself around your life, you will wake up soft. And life does not spare the soft. Truth number 5. Emotions lie. Reason must lead. Emotions are loud. They crash in like waves during a storm, crashing logic, pulling you into the current, drowning your ability to think clearly. One insult and anger flares. One rejection and self-doubt erupts. One delay and frustration clouds your mind. But the Stoic knew, emotions are part of us, but they are not qualified to lead. They are messengers, not masters. And if you let them take the wheel, you will drive your life off a cliff. Epictetus taught that it's not the event that disturbs you, it's your judgment about the event. Your anger is not caused by the insult, it's caused by your interpretation of the insult. That means you have power, not over the world, but over how the world affects you. The Stoic feels deeply, but responds slowly. He practices pause. He questions his emotional impulse. He says, is this reaction useful, or is it just a fire looking for fuel? Most people are ruled by what they feel. The Stoic commands his emotions like a disciplined general, firm, but never cruel. This doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means not letting them dominate your decisions. The Stoic can cry, he can bleed, but he does not let sadness become despair or anger become destruction. He channels them, transforms them, uses them. That is strength. Anyone can react. The Stoic creates space between the trigger and the choice. and in that space, he chooses reason. Your emotions will lie to you. They will exaggerate danger, they will inflate offense, they will whisper weakness. But if you let reason lead, calmly, patiently, you will not only make better choices, you will become unshakable in a world that reacts to everything. Truth number 6, time is slipping away, and you're wasting it. Time is the most precious thing you have, and it's the one thing you can never get back. You can rebuild your wealth, you can mend relationships, you can regain health, but every second that slips through your fingers is gone forever. The Stoics lived with this truth burned into their bones. Memento mori, remember death, wasn't a morbid phrase, it was a fuel source. A reminder that you're dying by the minute, and you don't get to negotiate with the clock. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." That wasn't poetry. That was urgency. Because most people live like they'll live forever. They procrastinate their dreams. They waste hours in distraction. They wait for the right time. But the Stoic knows the right time doesn't exist. There's only now. Every moment you delay your growth, your work, your healing, your purpose, you're stealing from your own future. The Stoic doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't scroll his life away. He lives with intention. He respects time like a warrior respects his weapon, knowing it can be lost in a heartbeat. He asks himself, if today were my last, would I be proud of how I lived? And if the answer is no, he changes, not tomorrow, but today. Because the clock won't pause for your excuses. The sunset doesn't care if you're ready. Life moves, and if you don't move with it, you are already dead, just breathing. Wasting time is self-betrayal, and the Stoic refuses to betray himself. He knows you cannot master life if you do not master how you spend your time. Your attention is your life. Guard it, direct it, and never, ever waste it. Truth number 7, people will betray you. Expect it. One of the most painful truths in life is this: people will hurt you. Not might, will. Friends will lie, lovers will leave, family will fail you, coworkers will stab you in the back. And if you expect them to always be fair, loyal, or kind, you will bleed for years from a single cut. But the Stoic doesn't bleed over broken expectations. He prepares his soul for betrayal, not because he is cynical, but because he is wise. Epictetus taught, when someone acts poorly, remember, they are acting according to their understanding. Do not be surprised. The Stoic doesn't assume people are perfect. He assumes they are human, flawed, weak, conflicted. And in doing so, he removes the sting of betrayal before it ever arrives. That doesn't mean he doesn't trust, it means his peace doesn't depend on anyone's loyalty. He builds his internal foundation so strong that when others fall, he doesn't fall with them. People will gossip, they will abandon you, they will misjudge you. Let them. The Stoic remains grounded. He doesn't lose himself trying to control how others act. He focuses on how he responds, with calm, with principle, with boundaries. He forgives not to excuse, but to release himself from the chains of bitterness. He walks away, not because he's weak, but because he values his peace more than revenge. Expect betrayal, and prepare for it. Not with paranoia, but with philosophy. Because once you stop expecting people to carry your peace, you start carrying it yourself. And then no one can ever steal it again. Truth number 8, you will die, but you can choose how you live. This is the hardest truth, the one most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You will die. Not one day, not someday, but certainly, maybe today, maybe next year. But the hour is coming, and you will not be able to buy more time. And yet the Stoic doesn't fear this. He embraces it, because in death's shadow, life becomes clearer. The pointless noise fades, the ego quiets, and what remains is a raw, urgent question. If I'm going to die, how should I live? Most people ignore this truth. They numb themselves with entertainment, routine, comfort, pretending there's endless time. But the Stoic looks death in the eye every day, not with dread, but with clarity. He uses it as a compass, a reminder to live fully, speak truthfully, love deeply, and walk with purpose. Because every day not lived consciously is a day wasted forever. Memento mori isn't meant to depress you, it's meant to awaken you. Marcus Aurelius reflected on death daily, while leading armies, raising children, and carrying the weight of an empire. Why? Because remembering the end makes the present matter. When you know you're going to die, you stop wasting time on grudges. You stop fearing failure, you stop needing validation, you start living, you stop existing and begin acting with intention, like your moments mean something. The Stoic understands, death makes us equal. It humbles the proud and awakens the lost, but it also liberates, because once you've accepted death, you're no longer afraid of life. You are free, you are present, you are powerful, not because you're immortal, but because you remember that you're not. The world will try to break you, but the Stoic builds himself unbreakable, thought by thought, choice by choice. If this message spoke to your soul, don't just watch, embody it. And if you're ready for more, subscribe and walk the Stoic path with us.